It's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you are at work, in the car, or wherever you are, we hope you enjoy this show about the great sport of geocaching. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can be part of the adventure tonight in the chat room and participate with others as they watch the show. If you are listening later, please give it a like and subscribe on your favorite podcasting app so that you can get all of the weekly Geocache Talk goodness. If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today. Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
And sponsored by smashingpennies.net. Get 10% off your order with code Geocache Talk Network. They are perfect to put in a geocache. Big thanks to Derek, Baker 6 Clan, for the graphics, and our new patrons, 4Cycle, Thunderstruck, and Rosebud 55112. And our featured patrons this week are from Germany, Finland, and Great Britain. Patrick, also known as Padib, he is in Germany. Yossi and Miko Pitt, are in Finland. Yossi, of course, the Mad Finn. Geocacher Owen and Pauline Pearson Kozelig, they are in Great Britain. So big shout out and big thanks to all of our patrons. Without them, we couldn't do this show. So welcome to our co-hosts tonight. We're back into a 3-man booth. So for tonight. So we got a couple DNF captains with us tonight. Big DNFers.
Man,
big DNFers. Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's what
DNFers.
I hear when people see me going down the trail. They're like, "I bet you that guy's going to DNF one right now."
DNFer,
you know it,
yeah,
something like that. Oh man. All right, let's do some quick news here, real fast. Cachefest.com is, of course, up, and we are selling for Cachefest, Oklahoma. We encourage everyone to go buy something. As Tom will explain, even if you don't want to keep it, think of it as a donation to paying those bills. Because there are bills to be paid to run a mega. There's insurance to purchase. There are rentals to make. And it's just important that unless you've been on both sides of a mega, it's hard to understand what all really goes into the process. So to help out Cachefest, really, or if you get there and you want to buy something, that always is helpful. So
plus Tom needs a raise apparently. So
Puzzle Talk needs salary increases. I tell you what,
they get 100% increase every year. I don't know what they're complaining about.
I know. I don't understand.
That is well above inflation.
We can't keep giving 100%. John's on board now. He's watching the finances and he says, "Hey, you can't be doing that, man. So
Yeah, you know, Tom, we have this thing called a pizza contingency clause, and we got to make sure we certainly have a slice allocated, you know, for that. But, sir, you know, we will make sure that you are well taken care of on that side.
yeah,
Just
absolutely.
let me know the pie that you want, and it will be yours.
Give them a
And
300% raise next year. Make them happy.
no,
Yeah,
can't do
we
that.
could do that. We
300?
could.
So another couple quick notes. One is smashingpennies.net. I talked to Katrina. They're trying to work on the website. I appreciate Tom mentioned that last week that their site is down, or the week before. Sorry, I was out last week. But they're working on it. So check back again, you know, soon. You know, it's like anything. You hope people can get things, you know, working. You know, websites have to be maintained. You know, that's another part of our patronage is we take, you know, we have to pay the bills. We have to pay for the website. And we've had a drop off. I appreciate the new the new patrons. We have had a decrease or but that's okay. It'll all work out for us. Hopefully. If not, then we're done. But
Oh, man.
but right now, you know,
No.
we are doing things. But yeah. Also, a quick plug, a shameless plug for the card game Cache Masters. If you'd like to purchase Cache Masters, I do have it out there. I'm uploading some more videos. Some people have been purchasing, and they have been uploading. Bryce Reed did one recently. It was very
that was
fun
great.
watching them. Did you watch that one?
Yeah. Man, I love anything Brace does. Not to
Bryce is great.
round nose too much, but Brace is just amazing.
He is great. But they had a lot of fun. I used, you know, my catchphrase for it is this game will completely destroy all of your geocaching friendships, but it's in a good way. So, no, it's a lot of fun. There's some chaos. There's also some chaos in the game, and so anyway, if you want to get a copy, slinkgames.etsy.com. And it's back available. I was out of town. So I was not available, and so I didn't want to leave the store up. So the cool thing is with Etsy is you can put your store on vacation, and that's what I did. I put it on vacation. So slinkgames.etsy.com is perfect. It's like a party game, so you know, and it's just geocaching related. So all right, let's get into this DNF controversy. So John, you posted some stuff this week, and it got you got some people hot under the collar, my friend.
Yeah. You know, and this was one, and I have to say too, I appreciate all the people that have joined the Geocache Talk Network Community Facebook group. Certainly that's been an awesome group to put out polls and get people's responses on that one. And one of the polls we put out there, we got 83 people who replied based upon why DNFs are so controversial. And certainly on here, if you don't mind me going over the results, just a few on here.
Go for it, buddy.
Yeah, 72% of the people said they logged DNFs after they give it a good search and it came up empty. The number, this number 2 one, the 9% people respond back. Local cachers get something off about DNFs on their caches. You can fill in what that means on that side. But, you know, it seems to be quite a bit of controversy on this one. I was actually surprised in several groups, including the Geocaching Facebook group, a private group. This generated 41 comments from people, 41 comments from a lot of different angles on this one. Mm-hmm. And one of them says, DNFs are not controversial. Why are you trying to pour more fuel onto that fire?
Oh my gosh.
And my question is, Jesse, did we start this fire?
We didn't. We did not start this fire.
Yeah, not at all.
I have no tune. I can't sing it. I really want to sing it, but I can't.
Okay. Well, I wasn't trying to put you on the spot there.
Yeah, you are.
No.
Yeah, you are.
Well,
Well,
maybe I was a little bit, but
Yeah.
What's funny is the person who said that is the one who actually started a full rant about pouring fuel. She poured fuel on the fire of the discussion, and then people went crazy as usual on
well, and
Facebook.
all it's taken on that one, yeah, is just a spark because we all know on this one it is controversial. There's been a lot of controversy. People have different experiences, different attitudes, different ways that they do things. And I mean, even Geocaching HQ acknowledged this last year as a very controversial one.
If
Oh
you get
man,
hot on
that
the
is
collar, does it help
that's a
lowering your
good,
heating bills?
yeah, that's a good question, Tom. I should try that up north. If it does, I may get hot under the collar just a little bit more.
People are, it just shows that people are passionate about our sport hobby, whatever you call it, right? I mean, people love geocaching and they get passionate about just about every little piece of this game.
Oh my gosh! And we'll get into the more of the details of this, but yeah, I'm not. Why am I surprised? I shouldn't be surprised. I mean, I stay. Jesse and I both we for the most part stay off of social media, but
Yeah.
I did read all those comments from that from the people that talked about it, and again, I was surprised, and I shouldn't be. I shouldn't have been surprised that people go crazy.
Yeah.
They lose their mind. People get on Facebook and basically just lose their mind.
Yeah.
They forget. I mean, because again, it's that whole. They wouldn't have that kind of conversation face to face, but when you get behind, you get behind the wall, and you can then say whatever you want to anybody.
Well, it's hard to read emotion across text, right? So
That's true. You're
it
right.
kind of emboldens people to be more, excuse me, emphatic about what they're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, to me, the thing with online, you go to your local caching groups, you talk about topics. Maybe you have different norms in your local caching groups, but then you go into Facebook and other areas and you're getting a lot more different perspectives,
Yeah, for sure.
And the one on here too, I appreciate Jim mentioning this one on that thread. He said he's been chewed out by cache owners for logging a DNF. He says some cache owners take it personally. And I'm happy to say in my local caching community, I haven't experienced that, for a DNF. I don't know if you guys have with logging a DNF. You haven't, Jesse?
I have never come across that once. Now, I know of cachers that find it very amusing when people can't find their cache. They find that as a badge of honor. So they like people DNFs. But I've never seen it the opposite way where people are mad about somebody logging a DNF. Now, if somebody logs a DNF and says, my dog just broke in the room.
It's okay. Hey,
unfortunately, he's big enough he can
I
open
want
the
to try
door.
to call him a puppy, but hey, puppy, but he's not a puppy anymore. When I saw him, he was a puppy.
He's still kind of a puppy.
Yeah, kind of is.
Now, if somebody says it's not there or it has an attitude about it, would log it somewhere, I could see how. But I don't understand why an owner would get mad about somebody logging a DNF if they're just like, I couldn't find it. If they're trashing the cache or saying something bad, I get it. But why would you get mad all of us are cache owners? Why would you get mad if somebody can't find your cache? It's just hidden well.
Yeah.
What somebody brought up this and they wanted us to make sure and mention it, and that is that now that HQ has included geocaching health, that people are like starting to lose their mind about their geocaching, their cache's health, their geocaching. Am I wording that right?
Yes.
So
I think you are.
So when you log a DNF, your geocaching health will go down, and so people freak out. They're like, "But that's so important to me. I've got to have this." You're ruining my record here of not having DNFs on my. It's like, that's not. It's not that important.
No. And to me, I don't know about you guys. DNFs are an essential part of the game to keep things healthy. As a
Yeah.
cache owner, I mean, they're critical for communicating what's out there on that side.
There's
And
one.
if you need to check
Sorry.
something. Oh, no, go ahead.
Yeah, there you go. I'm sorry. There's the one, Jesse. We have a local cacher that really gets upset when you log a DNF. He always mentions the health score.
Well,
So that's what I was talking about. the health
that's
score.
ridiculous because a DNF is there for somebody didn't find it. Now that could be because they have 3 finds and don't know what they're looking for, and it could be an experienced cacher that's just off that day, or it could be snow on the ground. It could be anything. What, do you want people to not log DNFs now? That makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. And people like Houston, Texas Dave saying a 10-year-old puts a DNF because he spent two seconds looking. But then
that's a
again,
DNF.
that's
he
not
didn't find it.
right.
I mean,
It's
that
not.
just it means more that they couldn't find it than the cache is bad.
That's the part that I don't.
Hold on. We're already getting down to the controversy part. Let's
Yeah,
start
we
at
are.
the
You're
beginning first. How do
Go back
y'all
to the
treat
beginning.
DNFs? Let's go with us personally first. How do you approach
Okay.
DNFs? Do you log every DNF that you don't find? That doesn't sound right.
Yep.
Do you log it every time you don't find a cache? What's your personal policy on it?
Okay. So on this one, I got to say mine has changed. When I started out caching, I was kind of caching, not really going to events, doing it on my own. So for me to DNF, I didn't DNF right away. I hate to say it. I don't know if part of it was like I didn't want to come across as like, unknowledgeable maybe. So maybe there was like that little bit of a sense on that one. But it was then after I talked to some other cachers, they really emphasized to me, I mean, if you go out, you give it a search, you can't find it, you got to DNF it. Caches do get muggled. They do go missing. Cache owners should want to know, is there cache there or not, on that side. For me, especially in the area where I kind of started caching, it's like there was a whole bunch of older caches and some cachers that were no longer in the game, so if I couldn't find it, I should mark it as DNF. If the next person can't, they should mark it as a DNF. If those caches are no longer there, those caches should get, archived if nobody's maintaining them, if they're no longer in the game. So from my perspective, it's a vital part of keeping the caching community healthy. Because could you imagine for a new cacher, if you went out and you're trying to find caches and you're just going on a string of 5 or 6 that are none of them are there because nobody marked DNFs?
Now,
so I feel the same way. So early on, I didn't do it a little bit because I thought I was just too inexperienced, and then later on, as I found more caches, I got into logging DNFs. I think DNFs, and we're not going to get into it, but needs maintenance, needs archive. Those are all very important parts of the game because there's a lot of zombie caches out there. There's a lot of caches that aren't there anymore. And that just breeds throwdowns and stuff like that. There's a lot of, that's part of the game to me. Now, having said that, I'll fully admit I don't log all my DNFs.
What is going on?
Hold on. In fairness to me, I also don't even log all the ones I find because I'm terrible about logging. So I missed both of them in the past. Just because I'm usually I'm with a buddy, we're speeding through and playing, and very often I have to go back and find out who I cached with and log based on what they logged because I forgot to log them because I'm just not good at logging. I get too caught up in the moment playing and goofing off and finding the cache that I forget to log them a lot. I'm trying to get better on that, and DNFs also, including adding photos and writing a full description. But a lot of times mine are just cut and paste, so I forget the DNFs. I cut and paste even the counted logs because I have to go back, and then it's too late. But I think extremely important. Yeah, forgot to log. I forgot to log FTFs before. And that really drove people crazy. But I try to do the same as you, John. I really try to log every cache with something. If I go there, found it, didn't find it, like somebody mentioned, couldn't get to the area, then I'll just put a note. Hey, there was construction in the area. I couldn't get there, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I'm not afraid to log a DNF because I think it makes me look bad. I don't care about that.
I did want to quick note, I mentioned Mika Pitt earlier, and he's actually on, which is pretty wild. Think of the serendipity of that. I mean,
That's right.
each week we're doing different. I did Australia and we did California one week, and then this week I thought, well, I'll do a little bit of our European folks. I did Germany and Finland and Great Britain, and Miko's actually on tonight. So that's awesome. That's awesome. So mine real quick, because I want to get into the other things, is I log all my DNFs every time I attempt, and there isn't really a time where I guess if we don't attempt, I'm trying to think of late. I don't think I haven't had one where we didn't attempt it. So, oh wow, we actually got a super chat. Throw the super chat.
Thank you, Bill on the move.
Submitted
On the
6
move,
new
man.
caches for Leap Day, hosting an event, and trying to release my first Adventure Lab with a bonus cache. That's a lot of activity all at one time.
Good job.
Yeah.
That is awesome. You are definitely helping out your fellow cashers that day with getting that souvenir.
Well, no doubt. And helping us out too. Super chat.
Yes.
Yeah. Super chat. Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate that. So from now you want to switch around, Jesse, and talk about how we feel as cache owners? Okay.
So we, all three of us, tend to log DNFs pretty regularly now. We've changed over the years. Now, how do you feel about the other side of it?
I think I've always logged them, but that's
how do DNFs affect you as a cache owner? What is your response to DNFs?
Oh man.
Oh man.
So to jump in on this one, like if I get a DNF, I will admit smidge of anxiety on there. That panic moment. Did my cache get muggled? Did it go away? I'm not hating that somebody sent me a DNF, but it brings up a situation where something maybe I worked really hard on is no longer there. Mm-hmm. So I mean, certainly from that perspective, I do get that little moment of just like panic, anxiety, just like, man, I hope my cache is still there. I usually go look up, the cacher's history, see if they've been caching for a while on that side. I know one of the things that I always put out kind of in my maintenance log. So if I go out there and I check after that DNF, I say something like, we've checked it. The cache is still there. We're always happy when our caches are found. We're always happy if you give, if anybody reaches out to us for a hint. But but I got to tell you, I'd rather get a DNF than somebody not log that, and then for me to find out a cache has been missing for a long time, and other people have not had a good experience.
I would agree with you too. I don't have a lot of physical caches out right now. Most of mine are earth caches, just because I've moved out of the area and I haven't done a lot down here yet. Yeah. But I have a few physicals out there, and I do the same thing. As soon as I get a DNF, it's on my mind until I know what's going on with it for sure.
Right.
And now I do, and whether it's fair or not, I look at the history of the cacher. If it's a brand new cacher and it's a trickier hide, I take it a little lighter than if it's an extremely experienced cacher and it's an easy cache to find. Then I'm like, it probably is gone. But I almost always go ahead and put a note on there saying I'm aware of the DNF. I'm going to check on it. But now many times that resolves itself before you can even get out there and check it the next couple of days. Somebody else has gone and found it. Then you're okay. It's in place. You're good to go. But yeah, as soon as one comes out, I'm pretty concerned about that cache until it happens. Until I've laid eyes on it or lay hands on it after that.
DNF to me is encouraged more than a throwdown, for sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, we talked about recently when we did the throwdown show, how, I DNF it. Let me, as a cache owner, we all have hopefully somewhat of a schedule of checking on things. I've and at least in Texas, I don't know about you guys' states, they're pretty good about sending out if you've had two or three, um, and you mean to get out there, but you haven't had a chance. But if you get, and what's funny too is I don't know what the appeal. I guess the appeal is that they want to find it, but if I get one DNF, it seems like within the next day I get 3 or 4 more, because I don't know if it's like a magnet. All of a sudden, do you think it's because they see that now as a challenge, that like, oh, they didn't find
Yes.
it. They see that and they're like, oh, somebody DNF'd it. Let's go do that one. All these other caches over here that have been found, 45 times. Let's go do this one because it's got a DNF on it.
I do that.
I know you do, and I do
I do
it
it.
too. As our group,
I love because, and especially when I was early on, I would see a cache DNF by an experienced cacher. I would absolutely go out and try to find that cache just so I could. And I never said anything like, "Ha ha, I got it, you suck." But I always like to find a cache right after somebody has not found it, just because I'm like, "Ha ha," it's just fun to do.
right?
I don't rub it into anybody's face like, "You suck, I found it," but if there's been like 3 DNFs and you go out there and find it, you're smiling big. We all know that. We're cachers. We're in competition with ourselves, but still, you still want to find it so other people have had challenge finding it, right?
What a badge of honor if you go there after many people have DNF'd it and you go and you take your picture and you got it. It's just, man, that is awesome. And just to dispute something, Pathfinder said Pizza Ninja is king of the throwdown. # no DNF. The only throwdowns I do is pizza down my throat, sir. So
there you go. That's the throwdown. I
don't think it's much different than a lonely cache, right? The whole reason to find a lonely cache is nobody's found it in a long time.
Yeah. But I think I mentioned before that I get a little bit miffed. I don't say anything, but I do get. I'll be honest. I get a little miffed. I get now. The one that really irked me the most was the person who had 0 finds, and they tried to needs archive on one of my caches. Their first log was not a find or a DNF or a write note. No, their first log they ever put on a cache was needs archive. Now I chalked it up to they don't know what the heck they're doing, so I'm not concerned about it. I did send a note to the reviewer and said I went by, I checked, the cache is there. It's just not. It's a tricky hide. So they basically took 2 seconds, looked and said it's gone. So they became the archive expert with 0 finds. So anyway, but I'll be honest. I see a DNF. I do what you do, Jesse. First thing, I'm sure you do too, John. But first thing I do, how many finds do they have? Oh, they got 12 finds. Yeah, right. Now, if I see, like, I think one person mentioned, I'll find it in the chat. But if there's 2 DNFs and one of them has, and if either one of them are fairly experienced, then it goes on my list. I've got to go check on that.
Yeah,
because like yours, John, the one I'm thinking of that I'm sure you were concerned about. You have this giant cache out in the woods. Nobody had found it yet. And the first thing you got was a DNF. So it's like somebody stole my cache.
Oh man, not just a cache.
Your
cache that bounce built on Gadget Talk.
Oh gosh.
That went to Geocaching HQ. That bounce showed there.
Yep.
And then mailed it to me. And then I put it out on a trail and I got a DNF on the first
thing. Before I first defined the DNF.
And I'm like, this isn't like a key box. This is something incredibly cool on this side. So yeah.
And it's huge.
Absolutely. And that's the one, like,
huge cache. Huge cache.
I was panicking big time on that one. Yeah, the Sasquatch hide. And don't worry, Direwolf. Don't worry. So Direwolf said, what? The Sasquatch hide. Yeah. I don't know why the first person couldn't find it. You can literally see it from the trail on that side. Somebody did find it, a couple days later, but I checked on it to make sure it was good.
Did they realize? Did you talk to that person? Did they realize what the cache was supposed to be?
I don't know on that one, and I don't know if they DNF'd it because, and this is an interesting one because it's a gadget cache, right? So I don't know if they DNF'd it because they couldn't see it or they couldn't figure out how to get into it,
or
There you
that
go.
it was,
They're not
or
gonna
that
get
it was
into it, yeah.
cache. They might have thought that it was literally the Sasquatch observing station. So
Yeah,
they were
I
like,
mean,
oh, well, we see them all the time. At least we
Right.
do down here in Texas. We see a lot of Sasquatch observation things. So
it totally seemed legit on that side too,
funny
So-
that Quincy Cryptiv said that.
Yeah, elusive, just like Bigfoot. Yeah, and you know what, Gary? I do want to make a comment too because we mentioned newer cachers, and you
Yep.
said how you got a cacher that gave needs archive on yours.
Right.
I have a cache on a college campus, and the one thing, and this is just a traditional, it's not a hard find on that side, but oftentimes this is the cache for newer cachers. It could be their first cache. So this is one, like, for me as a CEO, I love when a newer cacher reaches out to me. Maybe I wouldn't if it was a needs archive, but for like a DNF or for a write note, because certain times people have put that as their first DNF. And I've used that as an opportunity to message them back and kind of coach them through the process of finding it and how the game works on that side.
Sure.
So, I mean, certainly in that instance, if they didn't DNF that, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe they would have never found their first cache and they would have been, done with the game.
Yeah. I take all of them with a grain of salt if they don't have, 100 finds, or maybe not that many, but the ones that kind of, have y'all ever responded to a DNF, like sent them a message and said, okay.
Yeah, especially if I can reach out to them and just say, what's going on with the area, what did you notice or whatever. I have one cache that keeps getting DNFs because where it is, it keeps settling under the wood chips. So it makes it hard to find.
Yeah, makes sense.
So it's always been there, but I guess whatever landscaping they do in the area, it always there's wood chips on top of it all the time, so it makes it impossible to find sometimes. I thought about moving it just for that, but the problem is it's the last stage of a multi, like a 6-stage multi. So
wow.
Yeah, I just have to archive it if I did it, which I don't want to, because whenever they do find it, people usually favorite it because it's fun. But I was thinking about going and putting a stick with a geocaching sign like just in the grass right there.
Right. I try my best when, and I'm getting old, and I think this is part of my problem, but do you ever get the DNF with the message with it, like, I DNF'd your cache because you suck and all of your caches suck?
No. I've only had
they've got
like those weird, like,
and they got 3 finds
with apps and stuff, kind of things,
Yeah, I had one recently with it was something to that effect, and it was like, you've got 12 finds, or I think it was like 8, and so I wrote and then I deleted and then I rewrote it, and I think I deleted it a couple times, and then I finally was like,
just delete the log. No, just move on. Don't get a fight with a 12-year-old. That's stupid.
But the thing that was stuck in my head was, I don't want to drive them away from geocaching, but at the same time, I don't want them to have this attitude throughout their whole geocaching. What Pathfinder say?
So, do you remember the first time you found out the lamppost skirt slides up the pole? That's awesome progress, right? I had someone DNF a skirt lifter, and when I told them the skirt slides up the pole, it blew their mind. But he reached out to him, right? I mean, I think anytime, that's part of being a cache owner. That's why you probably shouldn't have 8,000 caches for certain people, because if you have a limited manageable number of caches, you can correspond to people. I've had people, and I've talked about it before, but DNF earth caches. And I'll email them back, and I'm like, no, you're not DNF earth cache. Tell me what's going on. If you were there at all, we're going to walk you through this. You're going to get it.
Yes.
Same thing with other caches. Like, what were you looking for? Especially if it's not just a traditional. If it's some other cache type and it's like a where I go or something. If anybody DNFs one of those, I'm did you have trouble finding the cache or working the cartridge? Let me know
Yeah.
so we can fix this out, or
Exactly.
I'll try to get them back immediately. Hey, are you still in town? I'll go check on it and make sure it's there, or I'll help you out or whatever. I hate when people DNF mine unless they're gone, and that's perfect when they DNF it. I don't want them to DNF it because they could be coming through town or whatever else. I want to make sure everything's full and healthy. But I'm not mad at them. I'm happy when they DNF it because I would never know otherwise. Just like John said.
Yeah.
Imagine I'd rather one DNF or two DNFs than find out 5 people missed my cache because it wasn't even there.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a evil or sneaky hide out there currently? Go ahead. What's the comment? Oh, Direwolf.
I don't know if he's just messing with me because my virtual was stolen, or yes, people do DNF virtuals. Virtuals can get stolen.
True.
Like plaques that cost $1,000. But anyway, let's
plaques
move on.
At Mingo of all places. I still think it was the wheat farmer that did it, but that's my. No. Do you guys have any evil hides where you get massive amounts of DNFs and you just go, you just know what you're looking for?
I don't currently.
I have one, and it is and I tell people it's a fake bolt on there that blends in with a lot of fake bolts.
Sure.
And occasionally it gets DNF because it's just somebody like over tightens it, or maybe they used like tools to tighten it up.
Yeah.
So that is one that does get a number of DNFs, and I always feel horrible when somebody comes in from out of the area.
Oh,
like I think one was Tyrone Shoelaces, who came in and he couldn't find it because probably somebody over tightened it, on that side.
Shoelaces, that's good.
Yeah, where it was it's a puzzle cache too. So but yeah, that's when I do feel bad, but I really don't know of any better way to do that. But I try to be as timely as I can with checking that out or communicating with people if they reach out to me.
So I want to get your guys' opinion on this. Is a cache that and I'm going to give you the GC code. I need to pull it up, but I put it in the show notes. I'm trying to find the right one. Sorry.
While you're pulling that up, I put out one at one point that was intentionally tricky, and it was a red herring type deal. All the information was available, and if you read and trusted the cache page and not your geosenses, you would find it quickly. But you know how we think things are going to be in a certain place when we get there, and we zone in on that place, and we don't look at. And I got a bunch of DNFs on that one, and that was one that was, I don't know, it was too tricky, and it made people mad. So there's always that, you get a bunch of DNFs, you're like, I looked at it, this one didn't even open. And I'm like, yeah, because that's a fake one. And if you read the page, that's not the one you're looking for. But it's a fine line to draw, right?
You read the page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to, when
it is
going out there like that, knowing you're going to get a lot of DNFs, you're probably going to get some angry ones as well. So it's a line to walk.
The thing though, I think about that one, Jesse, is that people don't know that style. Like, was it rated appropriately for difficulty on that one too?
So if you read the cache page, the difficulty and terrain basically told you exactly where it was.
Okay.
Now the red herring was at the bottom. It was at the bottom of the area. If you saw the cache page, the terrain was way higher. There's no way that could have been it. Yeah. And the hint was even read the difficulty and terrain rating.
Okay.
And if you just walked up and you didn't jump, it was like bright. So that's the first thing you saw when you walked to the area. Oh, I got it. But if you just looked up, there was a big red one right above it. You had to have a tool to get to. Now, clearly, that's not a 3 terrain when it's right there, whatever it was. I forget. But
yeah.
It may have even been a 5 terrain, but people walk up, oh, it's got to be it. Yeah,
Wanda.
Who actually reads the cache page? We all know we're all guilty of not doing that sometimes.
No, never.
We've never been caught live on the air not reading a cache page.
That's right.
No, we've never been caught trying to get a final. Where were you going? You were going for
that was
Jasmine?
a traditional. It was a fizzy cache, but it was a traditional. But it was an old one that had like a riddle on the cache page. But it was like, it'd be a mystery nowadays. We didn't read the cache page. Of course not. We just showed up.
Just showed up
like 1,000 miles away to find this cache and didn't read anything about it.
And we
And how
couldn't
long
quit.
were you
Live,
looking?
we thought would be cute and go live while we're trying to find it, and we're
Oh,
wandering
man.
around this field like idiots.
Well, yeah, we were on what was it? The old it was the old Twitter was
Oh,
The Twitter live thing, yeah.
yeah.
yeah, it was the old Twitter Live before it was Twitter Live. But anyway, yeah, and we finally read the hint. So all right, so I pulled up this cache. Let me pull it up. You guys take a look at this thing and tell me if and then I want to talk about yours too, Jesse, that you found earlier.
Periscope, that's what it's called.
Yep. Yeah. Charles got it.
Periscope, that's it. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah, Charles. No, I loved Charles on Periscope, man. That was love getting on there and watching him find stuff. That was really good. This one's called The Devil Made Me Do It.
All right.
So I don't know if we should encourage these kind of things or
I'm
this
probably going to
cache.
say yes, but go ahead.
This cache is a 4.5 5. It was
Okay.
in Colorado. So
Whose is it?
Beaster?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know that. That may be a fake name anyway.
2003. Well, right, but here's the thing: this cache had this cache was never found. It had seven DNFs, had 12 write notes. It was archived. It had 2 needs archives. It had a temporarily disabled. It had owner needs maintenance. It had two owner maintenances on it, and of course the reviewer note. So what were the 2 owner maintenance? So it got archived. Owner attention requested. Write note. All these people wrote notes. Mountain Boy. Reviewer attention requested. That was didn't find. People had pictures of the approach, the mass. Look at you want to see the wall for this thing?
Yeah,
Look
let's
at
check it out.
this
Wow.
Oh, geez.
And this was a 4.5 5, right, Gary?
Yeah. I mean,
That's a Colorado 4.5 5 though.
That's a 1742 in the flatlands of Texas, but we do have mountains, but they're all out in the west. But look at that thing. I mean, I mean, somebody went up there. This dude went up there and tried to find. Look, these 2 guys went up there. What did the cache owner say? Didn't find. So they said the owner maintenance. As far as I know, the cache is there and in fine shape. As far as I know, nobody has ever found it. It's a difficulty, so I can pretty much guarantee it hasn't been tampered with. Yeah, I don't think so, but I don't know.
Interesting. It was never found.
Never found. Yeah. There's a few of these out there. I kind of scoured and tried to find. I don't have any hides like this, but what do y'all think of the DNFs galore type cache? And then the cache owner is always like, "Oh, it's there. It's there."
Yeah, that's what Jason was just saying. Jason from Colorado, in fact, by the way. That was on his radar, but the owner refused to physically confirm it was there and kept saying it can't get lost. Yeah, I don't think I'd have made that trip either, just for if the guy won't confirm it.
Yeah. I mean, things happen.
Yeah.
Animals do things that people don't realize. I mean, we talked about when we had our buddy on from Pakistan, he's like, monkeys will steal his caches, literal monkeys.
Yeah,
so he has to.
I don't think there's an icon for that, but yeah.
There's no dog ate my homework.
My monkey. No. Monkey. So the question was, what do you think about people that are intentionally making caches to promote DNFs, or is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think that. What do you think? Do you think that happens? Well, I'm sure it happens, but
of course it happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people get joy out of that, like they get joy out of making the unbeatable puzzles and everything else. Anything that you can do in caching, people are going to like it to some degree. Now, I hope that that's not a common thing. It's funny if there's one in your area. It's not funny if there's a bunch of them in your area, right? That's going to drive where they're intentionally misleading somebody or whatever like that. That's not good for caching in general. Plus, it's annoying. Like a liar's cache that's fine. It's against the rules in the past or whatever. I think it's let's just say it's been against the rule most of the time, right? But they're out there. Nobody cares because there's so few and far between. But it's when you have multiple that it would suck, right? Every cache you go to is a liar's cache. You can't even play the game anymore. If people are messing with the DNFs, I think that's a bad idea. Or if people are getting onto people for logging DNFs, also still don't understand the mentality behind that yet.
Yeah, and I got to put out one here too because I was thinking about DNFing FTFs, and I don't know if you guys have ever DNF'd an FTF.
I've had people.
I know I have.
I've had people DNF.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I've never DNF'd. Wait, I'll take it back. We have DNF'd an FTF.
Yeah.
But the first thing we did, because we were more concerned for the cache owner because we wanted to let them know we DNF'd it. And here's what we did because we wanted to let them know we don't mind DNFing it. It was a group. It was our Motley Cache Crew group. And it's like we DNF'd it. But not only did we DNF it, we messaged the cache owner because we said, okay, we're probably just idiots and we can't find it. But we wanted to let them know we did this, 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 and this because we wanted to make sure to let them know here's what we did. Maybe that will help you because there's a possibility that it really is gone already, even though nobody had found it yet. Does that make sense?
It's never been there in the first place, which has happened.
Or it wasn't there, possibly.
Yeah.
Or in my case, I went looking for one, and the person was this was their first hide. They had the coordinates completely wrong on that side.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I've had those. I've seen those.
In all this kind of crazy terrain, DNF'd it, messaged them, and then on that side, then they thanked us and they went and they corrected it.
Right.
But I think that's the thing. I mean, again, for us as cashers, feeling like we should be able to report things, especially if we have them wrong. And I hear what you're saying, Jesse. I think I had a DNF one time where the cache container was not placed yet. It was a newer cacher.
I had that at least twice.
Yep. Yeah. Be careful of that.
But I've definitely DNF'd FTFs and I haven't hunted here yet, but in Colorado, there'd be some hard hides out there sometimes. And
sure.
Now, in that area, and I don't know if it's like that in this area because I haven't been into that part of it lately, but when a new cache came out, if you didn't go within the first 20, 30 minutes, you're not getting FTF. There were some real FTF hounds that were just
you were
of it. They'd fly out there. So we got in the race of doing it. And sometimes these hard caches, you fly out there and either you don't have everything you need or whatever else. But many times I'd get there and I would DNF one. Now, if I did it on the FTF, I would sit there and wait to see if anybody else showed up because I'd love to see somebody else show up and find it. But I don't see why that would ever be anything bad towards anybody if you DNF an FTF. That just means now, as a cache owner, I'd be freaking out.
Right.
Oh crap! Did I get my coordinates wrong? Did I do something wrong?
You start you start doing a little bit of worrying. Now this might pose a problem for some. TKD Scouter says DNF to micro in the woods after a snowstorm. Next day returned, found it in the spot. Looked because that can cause issues that if you're not around, you guys have lived, not Jesse anymore, but he did live where weather could be an issue, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And if they're new cachers, or they're new to the area and they don't, they're like, oh, I looked. Well, how far down did you dig? Did you dig down to the ground, or because it's not going to be in midair more than likely, if it snows, the snow is going to cover it fully,
Had to keep a shovel even for LPCs in Colorado.
Yeah.
That's
well,
right.
And that's the thing. Cause even being up north, it's like if you hide one and you walk through snow, and people could see like where you walk to hide it. It's like
Yeah.
sometimes you want to wait and publish it until after, maybe a week or so, when
Uh-huh.
hopefully you either get another good snowfall to cover your tracks or for it to melt on that side. So it
Or maybe you hide it during the summertime and don't publish it till winter when the snow is going to be on the ground.
Oh, the
True.
I know
cruel.
that happens. I'm not going to tell any
That's
cache
Oh,
true.
yeah.
personally, but
You know,
that happens.
yeah. He said that the cache was white. It's in a tree cavity. So,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
maybe.
good luck with that one.
Yep.
Yeah. Sometimes attributes aren't. You're right, Dave. Sometimes attributes are not listed, and they
Well, for
should
sure.
be. Yeah.
They should be.
Yeah.
That's a whole different
Yeah.
story, but yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. So did you want to go through, John, do you want to go through some of the responses to, or do you want to,
I have another question while I'm pulling those up too. So
did we kind of cover
let's
that, do you
say
think?
I think
you
we
get
covered
out
it.
there and there's a
Okay.
DNF a cache and you look at it,
Yep.
logs, and there's already 2 previous DNFs. What's your move
Right.
now?
That's a good
Will it be
question
the third
because
DNF.
third DNF from an experienced cacher or
Yeah,
your
maybe it's been a
Needs-
while, maybe it hadn't been found in, experience. I'm not talking about 1 or 2 caches out there, right? None of
Yeah.
the 0 first iPhone app cache.
I mean, for me, if like we're the third DNF, definitely reading through the attributes, I mean, I appreciate Railroad bringing that one up on that side because I
Right.
mean, is it something like you just completely missed something? Confirming DT because I mean, as you were saying, Jesse, with yours, I mean, the DT definitely tells you something.
Yeah.
So I mean, if the DT you're at a location and then the DT, increases from there, then, are you taking a look at maybe like a tree climb, bend me down? I know I DNF'd a FTF where it was, right. Is that what you guys call it too? When the cache is up in a tree and you have to actually bend the tree down and it's probably like 40
I haven't
feet
ever
up.
seen that. Heard that term. I mean, heard that term.
Yeah, I think bend me down, pull me down. I know there's a couple of different others. If somebody in the chat room has that as well too, kind of a little controversial because I mean you're relying on
So
people to
you're
keep on
damaging
bending
this
that
poor
tree
tree?
down.
Is that what's going on? So you're
Well,
damaging
a lot of
wildlife?
times those trees are just kind of maybe like really young but really tall still, so they got that flexibility. But you just
Yeah, I
have to imagine with that flex over time, that's probably going to damage the tree. But those are always tricky on that side too. But I mean, to me too, if that's the situation, if I know the CO, I'll probably reach out to the CO, and ask them if, they can give a hint or clarify on that one, something on that side too.
Now, one thing I do now that I didn't do when I was early on, but I changed pretty quickly, and that is saying that it was missing. I would do that early on, just sort of out of I know where the cache should be. It's missing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah.
You're gonna be that arrogant? It wasn't arrogant. It was just that I didn't know. Maybe I guess it was arrogant. Maybe it was, but I never, even to this day, no matter how many fines at 3,000, whatever I got, to this day, I will never say that. I will never. I don't ever say that ever again. Even if I think it might be missing, I am going to just put that I just didn't have any luck today. No luck today. That's my standard DNF. Now, I have in the past, if I know the CO, I'll DNF it, and then I will send them a note and go, okay, here's what I did. Am I missing something in my approach, or it's like I'm not asking for a hint. It's nothing like that. Now, sometimes we might ask for a hint. That's different. But if it's one that I really don't want to hint on, I really want to try to find it on my own. Because a lot of times people offer hints, but it's like, am I just not? It's like, no, it's there. I think you're just overlooking it. Okay, I can accept that. I've told you guys the one where I was staring right at it. I was just staring right at it, and then all of a sudden, It just
Yep.
appears out of thin air. It's like, how did I miss that? Now I can't not see it, you know? So,
But does
but
that warrant, if you're the third one, does that warrant potential needs maintenance?
oh man.
Let's say it hadn't been found in 6 months. Every couple months, somebody comes out and there's no notes or anything on the page.
I will say on this one, to me, if I check the cache owner and if the cache owner has not logged in for maybe like a year, you
Oh,
know,
no, that's a
from
needs
now on.
archive. That's different.
Yeah.
No, you could go a
That's
little
straight needs
softer. You could
archive.
go to that approach, you know.
That's what I immediately, if they haven't logged in a year and are not responsible on that cache page, I put needs archived and say,
Done.
it looks like this person's out of the game. Hopefully they're not. Can the reviewer check on this?
Right.
They can make it disappear. If that person logs back in, it's great. But if not, it should be archived. But
Yes.
you're skipping over. Now, I'm talking about somebody
Yeah,
still
we're
in the
doing-
game. Cache owner still in the game. You're taking the easy way out.
Okay.
Hadn't been found in 6 months. Last 3 DNFs, which you know is really 6 DNFs, because half of people don't log DNFs. Whole reason
Good
for the
point.
show. Do you do a needs maintenance or not? See how honest you are.
Well, for me, I would I would legitimately
I
reach
will.
out to the cache owner at that point,
Mm-hmm.
and I would just say, "Hey, there's been a few DNFs. I'm here. You know, if you want to give me a hint, you know, if it's somebody I know, if you want to give me more than a hint, I'll check on it. You know, especially if it's trail cache, that's going to require, you know, quite a bit of a hike for somebody to get out there on that point. You know, so I mean, I'd probably do that. I mean, I'd probably still log a DNF if, you know, they didn't respond in time on that side.
Yeah. So I think I would typically, what I typically do is log a DNF and a needs maintenance. And I just put, this one hasn't been found in several months. Last 3 people haven't found it. Any chance the owner can confirm it's still there. I don't see any problem with that. I'm sure people get their, little feelings hurt sometimes with everything you do, but that seems like, to me, I think that seems like a legitimate mechanics of the game, how the mechanics of the game are supposed to work, right?
Including if Gary in here says if it's a stored cache, no way I'm the third DNF.
Oh yeah, needs archives.
Oh
Needs
man,
archives.
Jesse,
How historic we
Jesse's
talking
doing that to
here?
Mingo, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. When you
This
say
one's against
historic,
the rules.
Gary,
It's buried. Archive this.
Yeah. Mingo. It's missing. DNF.
Mingo's been missing multiple times,
It has.
as we know.
People keep stealing it.
Now, historic cache, obviously, I'm not putting, but that's not needs archive. That's totally different than a cache around town. We've talked about this before, but
yeah. And
I only put needs archive if it's a webcam, right?
Yeah.
So,
And I got to give a shout out to Sparky916, who he said
Right.
coincidentally he got a DNF on one of his hides from an experience finder, so he missed part of the show while doing owner maintenance. So thank you for doing that.
Oh,
Sparky
thank you for
916.
doing
hey,
that.
this show is not about that, but cache owners that maintain their caches is so important. It makes you so.
Yep.
I found 12 caches today, no DNFs. They are all exactly as described where they were. Now, they were all labs, but every one of them I did not have to DNF at all. So I give them
Right.
thumbs up on that one. I've never had to DNF a Adventure Lab yet. So,
Well, yeah. I've DNF'd. We DNF'd an Adventure Lab. We couldn't because it was closed. We couldn't get in.
actually,
didn't
one
do
of my Adventure Labs that I own has been DNF'd
Yeah, your
because
library,
the
right?
statue was moved.
Oh, the statue was moved. Right. There
I
you
took it
go.
to an area. There's a statue, this big mechanic statue or whatever.
God.
It's been there for like the 1940s, right?
Yeah.
I put this thing out, and 2 months later, they moved the statue. Oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So technically, you can
Talk
get a
about
DNF on a lab as well.
I guess so. See, there you go. Buzz A2. Way to go. He replaced 2 of his. The same one? You placed it twice in the same day? I think that's a time for a new location. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, that's Strike 2. You're right. That is a topic for another show. We need to make. We've done a few.
That's
Adventure
all I'm
Labs.
finding right now until I get to my next milestone.
Yeah. Are you guys going to put out a? Oh, thanks. We got another super chat,
Oh,
super
man,
sticker.
Thank you, Melanie. That's awesome. That's so nice of you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
appreciate that.
That keeps the lights on right there.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
take care of our different bills for the show, our graphics and things we pay for. It's important that we have folks help with that. Do you guys think you'll ever put out a cache like the Mothers, which had what 200 DNFs and eventually had 3 or 4 finds, and then you guys think you'll ever find a spot like that
I'd love to.
you'd like to do that?
Yes. Now, if I found legit, 100%. I'd love to have that.
Yeah.
Because that is not just being mean. That's a whole different special type of challenge all in itself that you want to have only rarely, right? You don't want 10 caches like that around you. You want one cache like that you can go do.
Well, and it's appropriately rated. If that's appropriately rated on that one, for the difficulty on that side, all for
think
it.
how many people had a blast going out there camping out and trying to find that. I'd love to own a cache like that brings that many people joy, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, one of my favorite caches one of my favorite DNFs was with Jesse. Trying to keep from snapping a leg on a railroad trestle.
An abandoned railroad like bridge.
Right.
It was like Stand By Me, we were walking across this bridge waiting.
It was
like every third railroad tie was missing. You're like, me and Gary are both dead. We're both gonna die.
We're gonna snap a leg, one of the two, because you had to walk. You couldn't walk just normal pace because every fifth board was gone. So we were just careful. And once you get out over the water, it was like a little bit more, but it was great. We had a good time. We DNF'd it.
We did, and we spent how long we spent out there?
Oh, it wasn't too bad. What, 45 minutes, an hour?
Yeah. We went in knowing it was probably going to be impossible, but you know what? The DNFs did not discourage us from going and trying to find this cache.
No. In fact, I think I told you, it's like, nobody's found this in a while. You up for it? He's like, absolutely. Let's go do it.
And I mean, for an adventure like that and for a story like that, that's an awesome DNF story,
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, I'd like to put. I'd love to find a spot like that, not like that, but like the Mother's cache where, and I've got one. It's in a, it's kind of like it's not the same, but it's sort of like that same situation where it's in a park. What do you want to call it? Pavilion, yeah. Someone DNF'd the Earth cache beside Mingo. They DNF'd it, the Earth cache.
Love it. That's
yeah, the Earth cache or there's a puzzle there. I think there's
an Earth cache up there too. Yeah, no, yeah. She says there's Earth cache. She says Earth cache.
Is there an Earth cache at Mingo? Really?
Apparently there is.
Huh.
That's cool.
But it's not the same. I mean, but I think I'd love to find a spotlight. It'd be fun. Would it be? I guess it'd be fun. I think people would enjoy that.
No, absolutely. What do you do when you DNF a cache? I don't know about you guys, but I'm thinking about that cache until the next time I get to go out there and try it again.
Yeah.
I don't leave those unavenged. I keep going and keep going. And sometimes it's nice to have one of those. You're like, all right, it's time to go again.
Yeah. And I don't know about you guys. I document it like a crime scene. I'm like taking all these different pictures.
Take all the pictures.
Taking all these notes on this side.
Right.
And then when I get home, I'm like looking at all these pictures, like pinch zooming in. Like, did I just miss it from another angle or something?
Yeah.
No, to me, it gives me something to go for. I love having a cache that you have to avenge. That's just fun.
Those. Yeah. I love, especially when you avenge it. That's always there's a lot to that. There's a lot of fun, a lot of why geocaching it's one of the many things as to why geocaching is great, and that is the avenging of a DNF. But now, do you put the little watch on it?
You better believe it. Absolutely.
And then somebody comes along who's got like 4 finds, like, easy find.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going right back out there too. Immediately.
And I always love when people do that and they're like, I was out there and my 4-year-old found it, you know?
Yeah. You're like, the
Well,
heck's wrong?
what's terrible though is when you do that, you're trying to avenge something, and you see a log where they clearly admit they didn't find it and put a throwdown, and they go and do a throwdown. You're like,
Oh man.
that's just that burns you up.
Yeah.
And
So
they admitted in their log, couldn't find it, so I dropped a new container. Oh, are you kidding me?
I told you about, when we did the throwdown show, that lady, I mean, sorry, but I went off. I was like, you do not do that. Well, I was trying to help you lazy, good for nothing COs. So I replaced the cache for you. No, you don't need to do that. If you really think it's gone, you DNF it, or if you really want to go at it, do it a needs maintenance on it. And trust me, reviewers will find you. You know, the reviewers will find the cache owners. If they're not there, it's going to be gone. It's not your job to fix caches unless it's your cache.
and that is such a letdown when you think you're avenging a DNF and you go to a spot and you find the throwdown.
Yeah.
And not knowing it was a throwdown, and then somebody lets you know afterwards, and you're like, that feeling of just like elation is just like totally deflated at that point. Yeah.
I've gone out to
Sometimes you
one.
go to one and you find the original cache and the throwdown there.
That's what you want to find. That's what you hope to find. I've been out there. I've been out one before where you go back out. And before I even picked it up, I'm like, this is not the original. Pick it up and realize it's a throwdown. Or even if you're not sure, I message the cache owner and go, is this your cache? Because when I was out here before, I couldn't find this. And they go, no, somebody threw that down. So then I, take care of that for them. But then now I'm back out there doing the same thing again, thinking that this cache has been found when it hasn't been found. So now I'm back to, is it still here? Is it not here? You hope the cache owners are responsive too. But that's the other thing. I don't know about you guys.
I think we're saying, everybody should be logging DNFs. There's no reason to not log a DNF. If you didn't find it, that's on you. But probably phrase it properly.
Yes.
I was not able to find this cache today. Not absolutely it's gone, because it could be there and you missed it, right?
Exactly.
But if any cache owner gets angry for DNFs, or the ones they're talking about or whatever,
health, you're ruining my health.
Get rid of them. I mean, just ignore them. Be like, that's silly. I'm going to move on, because that's just somebody that's obsessing a little too much about nothing. That's
ruining my health score.
There's no point even arguing with somebody like that.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
But DNFs are extremely valuable.
They are.
Yeah. I mean, they're a critical part of the game for maintaining
absolutely
healthy caching, environment out there. And if you don't DNF caches, I mean, you're just creating a bad situation for other cachers coming in, not knowing what to expect, and for perpetuating maybe caches that maybe shouldn't be there as well too. But I mean, also it's definitely critical for letting those COs know. I'd rather get a DNF any day than hear from somebody, hey man, I looked for your cache 6 months ago, couldn't find it, and then went back 2 months later, couldn't find it. Send me that DNF the same day. I'm probably going to check it out, same day or within a couple of days.
But it's an ego thing.
Yeah.
Most DNFs that don't get logged are because it's an ego thing for people. They don't want to have their name that they couldn't find it and somebody else found it, or they think they're too good to have, that fragile ego for an imaginary game of, like we said, this is basically a kid's game. Don't let your ego on something that doesn't matter get in the way of actually helping people out that are trying to find caches, including brand new cachers, right?
Yep.
It could be a place that they pay to get in, and it's not there, and you knew it, but you don't want to, you don't want to look like you're not an experienced cacher. You can really save somebody a lot of time and money not going for a cache that could be pretty extreme too.
Mm-hmm. I know we're getting to the end tonight, but one final thing I think is Jesse says CO writes a note, cache is there and in good standing, but they have looked for 5 or 6 times. Do you log multiple DNFs? Have y'all ever done that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I don't know if I've ever, if I, if I go back, here's the thing is I don't know if, I mean, I love the dedication going back 5 or 6 times. I think I've gone back twice and then I usually don't
Oh
try.
no, I'm going back till I find it.
You, you're relentless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Good
that's the only cache I care about at that point.
at that point. Sure. I
Yeah.
understand.
Big nemesis cache. And I'll tell you, part of the thing too, I think the benefit of logging it multiple times, then you know when you were there last, because
Oh,
it could
true.
be one of those things.
True.
A cacher could not, like Jesse, may have forgotten to log a cache, or he's logged it months later.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then when you're going back and you're taking a look at the logs and you're like, well, somebody's found it the day after I was there, you know?
Tom.
I don't know about you guys, but I've had those
Hey,
kind of
thank you.
situations. Oh man, thank you so much. That is awesome.
Now we're gonna get to keep our lights and our website, so that is awesome.
Bamorama.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man.
And no joking
But I mean-
to it, but we really appreciate that. Everybody that's donated, we really appreciate that.
We should also mention, I think Bamorama is coming up, isn't it? Bamorama
Yeah, it's coming up too. I forget the exact date. I've got it in my calendar. It's a long drive, but I'm going to try to make it again this year. It was so cool last year. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man,
Alabama,
it's on my
that's
list. I definitely have to attend that some year.
It's a great
No doubt
mega.
about that.
Yeah. Second year, I think this their sophomore year, Bamorama. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
not for the event, but for the mega, right?
March 2nd.
March 2nd. Yeah.
Okay.
So fingers crossed. I'm hoping to get up there.
Yes. That's awesome. Yeah. It's a good spot, right there on the coast.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's a nice park.
We drove up and back in the same day last year, which is like,
That's a little bit.
it ended up being like a 20-hour day, but it was
Yeah. But
Well,
very
it
cool.
was one
it's not like a
last year.
20-hour day, and then some guy then in Memphis keeps you up past midnight, and then
No,
just hypothetically,
Hypothetically,
all that stuff happens. Yeah,
that's
it
right.
all happens. Yeah, Tom says, DNF must be avenged. So you're right.
that is correct.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we're wrapping up. Final thoughts, guys, and then I want to, before you give final thought, kind of give some start wrapping that up in your brain a little bit. I do want to mention that. Oh, cool! Going out there, Sparky's going out flying out to Bamorama. Cool, that's awesome. Yeah, let us know. Let us know how that goes. Next week, special guest. We've got Sean from Geocaching HQ. We got to meet him last year in Memphis, and he's going to come on, and we're going to talk waymarking because we have, but we've never done it. We've never done it justice, right, Jesse? We've never given it its full. So
We've never really covered it that much ever.
No. And so we really want we want the full scoop. We want to understand it fully. We don't want to just go into it with the usual, because we've all heard the usual.
Well, there's so many questions though, because it's not just what it's about. Is it a parallel game? How do you view it in the geocaching universe? So there's so many things to get into.
That's a
It's
great
not just.
question.
There's
It's
more
almost like
to it.
something foreign to us because none of us really go after them or whatever, but
Right.
some people do a lot. So I think it's going to be an interesting discussion because it's kind of like benchmarks. It's a game behind the game, but also owned by the same game, and it's parallel, sort of.
Yeah.
It's weird.
There's a lot. There's more to it than I think that I know for sure. That's why I think Sean.
Oh yeah, there's a lot to it.
Yeah, so it'll be fun. So really looking forward to that. And so, all right. So some final thoughts, guys, and we'll wrap up for the night.
I think we've covered everything tonight. I think here's my final thing would be: don't let your ego get in the way of some helpful information that you should be passing on to other people. If you're not logging a DNF because you're embarrassed that you didn't find it, that's silly. But that DNF could really help the owner, help other cachers and everything else. Those are there for a reason. They're very helpful. Nope, I'm trying to get better at it all the time. I forget to log sometimes too. But that's one of those things we should be striving to do as good cachers.
Right. John?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, logging DNFs is a critical part of the game and creating a good game for everybody, and especially this time of year, especially in North America, because we're going to have so many newer cachers coming out and starting to cache.
Right.
Once the
Weather
weather
gets
gets good on that side. So if
Right.
we're looking to create a good game board for them, we definitely should be logging those DNFs, modeling those good practices out there. And then hopefully, for those new cachers starting up, they have a great experience. They get in the game, start hiding some caches of their own, and keep on adding to the game. So critical time of the year to make sure that we're all doing it for sure.
Very cool. Yeah. People stop getting mad about other people, and
Yeah.
don't get uptight. Log your DNFs. Just
Right. Be proud of that.
Yeah, be proud of it for sure. So, all right, cool. Thanks, guys. And Jesse, last little note for you about Bamarama. They're going to have their first Where I Go down in the South Alabama area. So
That's awesome.
there you go.
Nice.
Another Where I Go. That's perfect. All right. Well, thanks everybody, and we'll see you. We'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Find the button. Gary finds the button.
Did Gary DNF the button?
No, I'm not DNFing the button.
Okay, just me.
May your finds be many, and your DNFs be few. May the terrain and difficulty both be less than 2. And whatever it is you're looking for, may it find its way to you. And may we all meet again.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.